Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing? I'm trying to stay calm. There's a lot happening. Who's buying the saying we're going to draw down, Operation Blitz in Minneapolis? I was watching one of the grassroots organizers in Minneapolis, and they were talking about it's not enough. There's so much, it's not just withdrawal. It is releasing the people who have been detained illegally. It is addressing the fact that people have been physically assaulted. There are people who are going to lose their businesses because of how much this has had an effect on their economy, because we're withdrawing the agents. And I think Homan said that he wasn't comfortable removing his agents while they were being assaulted. If you remove your agents, they're not being assaulted. They can go. Anyway, but it is good news. I'm glad to see that the efforts of the people of Minneapolis, the pressure that they've been putting on the administration, the protests, calling attention to what's going on, I think has had an effect, and I think we can all learn from that. So I'm glad to hear that. It's not enough. It won't be enough for any of these folks. At some point, we do need to do a little bit of a deep dive on these warehouses that they are buying all over the country in order to house detainees. Let's get into this a little bit later, because I get fired up at the top of the show, and I want to make sure we address what we're going to talk about with guests first. We have coming up, we have a pre-recorded interview, because I had the opportunity to talk to Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, and we want to talk a little bit about her incredible, I think, the way she went after the secretary heads and in particular with the Border Patrol, with DHS. I know that a lot of folks start to get really tense when we talk about dismantling DHS. I think she makes some really good points. I'm sorry. They dismantled the Department of Education. I think we can talk about the Department of Education, which provided a lot of incredible safety precautions and a network that gave every state the ability to be held accountable, to administrate, to protect students at all levels, including children with disabilities. So if you can why are we so, if we say we're going to dismantle or defund, DHS, they're not, it's going to make them mad. They ran on dismantling the Department of Education. And education, they said that was okay. So I think we can go after the people who are violating the Constitution, who are abusing human rights. I think it's okay to say that. And to create something that does address immigration, we need to be able to process people at the border, because these warehouses is not, if they're just holding detainees, are they being processed? Are we going through to make sure that they are here legally? Because a lot of folks, there are citizens, there are people who are here legally, whether they have a work visa, they have permission to be here, all the different elements of that, but they're not being processed. There are some people who have been in these warehouses, these concentration camps, for over 300 days without access to sunlight, without access to fresh fruit and vegetables. Okay. Didn't I say not to start yelling yet? It's not time to yell yet. Okay. At any rate, we do need to talk about that. So we'll have that interview with Congresswoman Delia Ramirez in just a little bit. We're also going to talk at 5:30 with Reid McCollum, the chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage County. They have a gala coming up on February 22nd with their keynote speaker, David Hogue. And then we'll talk to Dan Facchini, who's the managing director of Innovation DuPage, one of the only four organizations in Illinois chosen for the state's Clean Energy Initiative. So we can open up the phone lines if you want to give us a call. We'll get one bet as to who comes in first. See, this is where you guys, it's on you to beat Jim. And at some point, I'll have a prize for you. But Jim's going to be the first caller. 773-763-9278. That's the number to call. The most important thing is to thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in to WCPT 820 AM. You can also catch our show live streaming on Facebook. Hi, everybody. As well as YouTube. And you can also stream us wherever you get some of the radio broadcasts. I've got to write down all the places that people told me they listen besides TuneIn, because that's what always gets stuck in my head. But if you have a smart device, you can say, hey, play WCPT 820. You can even say it on, I think you can say, hey Siri, play WCPT 820. Let's see what she says. At any rate, I'm sorry, everybody. I hope I didn't make your phones activate. It shouldn't be recognizing mine. Oh, yeah, it does from my. There you go. I can do that. I should probably not do that because then it's going to be an echo of me. So there you go. Fine. Oh, see. Okay, then that's how that happened. Why don't I stop? Stop talking, Pat. Oh, no. Stop. Okay, let me turn my phone off. All right, turn my phone down. See, that works. Make your phone work for you. I get directions that way. Okay, let's get to our first phone call because there's a lot happening. Hey, Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
First of all, Patty, if you listen to the Lions in the House, he said, we're just getting started. You haven't seen nothing yet. It's like a showbiz tune. I mean, they intend to go berserk here. But where's the mob barkers for liberty, invading the libraries because their kids didn't want to read the 850 books they banned?
They didn't care about protecting children. They cared about controlling us, including other people's kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Well, no, they went on that nut that stole the money from the wall. What's his name? He dresses like a bum. The guy that pumped up Trump, Steve Bannon. That's what they went by in his call. I guess they're all demented. Listen to that nutcase. He's never got anything to go to jail. So $200,000 from the wall button doesn't even get pitched for it. But anyway, they ran in every library in the country, banning books all over the country, but nothing about the pedophile president. Or a million times he's mentioned with this insane outfit of pedophiles and rapists. Not a word. I haven't heard a word from him. And another thing is, Patty, really kills me. You know what I'm ready for? Is the Israeli army has vaporized 3,000 Palestinians. Now, what happens when you're vaporized? The only thing left of you is a little bit of blood spatter, and maybe your tiny toe has some flesh on it. So I'm waiting for Lyons to get his hands on those weapons, and they turn it on us. Because, I mean, to make this a fair fight,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, to make it a fair fight is, first of all, the word conservative. The word conservative was invented in the middle of the 19th century in Europe. It is synonymous for militarism. And it was up until probably me started with the Federalists, the Federalist business. That they were the only ones who, the original interpreters of the Constitution, which is insane to even attempt that in the year 1985, which was written 200 years before that. I mean, see if they can interpret what was in, those people's minds. But anyway, on we go.
Yeah.
We're going to kill him in the midterms, Patty. We're going to kill him in the. I don't care what he does. He can surround every ballot box from here to Kingdom Come. And nobody's going to stay in line, no vote.
Well, I think, and I wonder what it means in some of these special elections across the country where they are really, I mean, they're not just flipping these seats. In North Carolina, and I think it's somewhere else on the East Coast, was in New Jersey, one in Louisiana. They're not just winning these races that Trump had won. They're flipping these seats by double digits, which is impressive. And is it because Republicans are just staying home and the Democrats are activated? Because I don't know that we have that many Republicans voting for Dems.
Two young kids, 11. You see some of the high school kids are coming out now. I mean, they're good. They're not taking this baloney. And I saw two kids about 15, two buddies, and they got arrested by ICE up in Minnesota. And
I saw that from the Chicagoland area, those guys? Because I think there's a couple that traveled.
Yeah, they were great guys, two great guys. Yeah. But I mean, the kids, they remember, their parents, they must remember what America was like, how great America was, how life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and all men are created equal. I know that we've never come to that point, but, maybe in a few centuries we will. But
Did I ever tell you I was traveling one time and Griffin called me? He was protesting. I was out of town, and he texted me, is it okay if I get arrested tonight? And
God love him. God love him, Patty.
He did. And I go, okay, I appreciate the call, but your father isn't home with your brother.
You got to get the
challenging.
You got to get.
Yeah.
I think you got to get the bond money. You got to get the bond money up. I pressed my mother to service a couple of times, but All right, God love them. God love them. That's all I can say. Because I'm happy about the kids coming out because, the Republicans were giving us, with the Turning Point USA. I guess she's trying to raise the bereaved widow is trying to raise money. She needs more money. I guess the $20 million to be left, to be hustled out of wherever he got it, God knows. But I guess she needs more money because I just saw the advertisement again today because I went nuts when I saw the person. I kept calling him. I said, I thought she was left with $20 million. Why does she know how to work? I said, McDonald's is open. I said, well, can't she get a job there? Or what she needs for, they want donations. Donations for a person who's got $20 million already. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm glad the kids are coming out. Those two kids they were from Chicago. They look like they might have been.
I think they're
from
the
Chicago.
suburb. Well, I know there were two young men that were traveling from the Chicagoland area. I don't know if we're talking about the same guys. But
they look like two tough kids.
Yeah.
Anyway,
thanks, Jim. Thanks so much, Jim. Have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks. Hey, Jim, one more thing. I'll ask him tomorrow. I bet you I get a chance to ask him tomorrow. I do want to thank our sponsors. Thank you to our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar and make an appointment with Peter Sorellis and see if it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. Spring is coming up, guys. I can feel it. And you want to see if it's time to get that sweet savings from having solar power, doing better by the environment. That's source.solar. We also want to thank Kirk Bankstead and everybody at Minocqua Brewing Company. We had a great podcast here, and really, the Up North podcast is available. You can watch that on the Facebook Live. Oh, no, we don't have it on the Facebook live stream. It's on the Substack. We'll figure out how to get there too. We're working on all the stuff, but the podcast we did yesterday is available on Substack, as well as all the work that the columnists do there, including me. My post is up from Monday. If you want to scroll down, check out what Ben Cominos thought traveling to Thailand and having some interesting conversations with people around the world. He said it did not go well as an American. We're not doing great internationally. I don't think that's really a surprise. Also want to thank, by the way, that's MinocquaBrewingCompany.com, and you can tune in again next Monday for the Up North podcast. But follow all of the work that we do there. Maybe order some progressive beer. Also want to thank our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. I was at the Copernicus Center today for our Chamber of Commerce in Jefferson Park, and it's always so much fun to let people know about these great markets we have. And the Pride Coffee Roasters will be at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market Winter Series on March 22nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Copernicus Center. But before that, you can catch them at the Edgewater Indoor Market at the Broadway Armory, and that's at 5917 North Broadway Avenue this Saturday on Valentine's Day. Go say hi to them and tell them you love their coffee, because you know I do. Tell them Patty said hi. There's also Patty there. So, by the way, your single origin beans are roasted to order. So you click the button, say, I want these beans from Peru, and then Jackie or Patty, maybe Iggy, I don't know, that's their dog, goes and roasts your coffee beans. It would be weird if the dog was doing it. So no, they do the roasting. And I'm sure that Iggy makes a very sweet companion. I want a dog so bad. Does it show? I'm always talking about people's dogs. At any rate, go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and put your order in. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we will have our interview with... Is it okay for me to do the interview here? Do I have enough time? It's 12 minutes. Should be fine. We'll be a little bit late. All right, let's go. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. Our interview with Congresswoman Delia Ramirez coming up after this.
Hey, I'm Dr. Kristen Lyerly, and I'm bringing you real conversations about the issues that matter most. Healthcare, politics, culture, you name it. Every week, I sit down with newsmakers and friends, and we break down what's happening and what it means for you. It's smart, it's fun, and it's unapologetically progressive. So join me on Saturday at 5 p.m. right here on WCPT, Chicago's Progressive Talk. The Dr. Kristen Lyerly Show. Let's do this.
Stephanie Kifowit is not your usual controller candidate. She's a Marine veteran and a current Illinois state representative with years of experience fighting waste, fraud, and abuse in Illinois government. Illinois needs a Democratic controller ready on day one to protect taxpayer dollars, stand up to Donald Trump, and get results.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Kifowit, and I'm running for Illinois State Controller.
Paid for by Kifowit for Controller.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
I'm so thrilled to welcome to our show tonight. I don't even know how she's giving us time. She came out swinging yesterday, made national headlines when she looked ICE and DHS officials in the eye and told them she has as much respect for them as she does for the Klan. Please welcome Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. Holy moly, and thank you. How are you holding up? Are you hydrated? Hi.
I'm hydrating. I might take a little ibuprofen in a second. There's a little bit of a headache. But listen, this is a big week here. This is an opportunity for Democrats to really demonstrate if we're listening to the people back in our districts and we're going to hold the line. And, people have said, well, what will happen if, we don't get enough votes to pass this HS bill? I'm saying, let's shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. I mean, the point is some people are talking about another CR, another continuing resolution to vote to keep it going for another 2 weeks with no reforms. That's not a way to actually get anything done. So it's a big week, and I was glad to be able to face evil in the eye, right? As I did yesterday. Pam Bondi is in Judiciary today, lying under oath. I mean, I think the point is we're either going to use every tool we can, or we're going to submit to fascists and continue to see what we see in every district.
I can't argue with anything. I mean, I'm so grateful that you are in there with your sleeves rolled up and taking them on.
Literally.
Yeah.
Look, they are rolled up, literally.
Look, you called for DHS to be dismantled. And you talked about how it is based entirely on racism and attacking people of color. The other thing is, when they were chanting at the RNC in 2024, mass deportations now. And what do we have? We actually have them buying up property, warehouses. It is not about mass deportation, is it, at all? Not about going after criminals, is it?
Well, it's not about going after criminals. It is about mass deportation to profit at the highest possibility for all of Donald Trump's donors. And you're talking about using warehouses. Todd Lyons talking about how, listen, this is going to be like Amazon Prime, except it's going to be with people. We're going to ship them out as if completely take away people's humanity. And I think that for us here, for Democrats who, couldn't really talk or respond, it was a failure on our part to do the work that we needed to do to make sure that we defended people, because it was never about criminals. It was never about the people that they say that they're coming after. 90% of the people that they have taken had no criminal background whatsoever. They tried making up criminal backgrounds on some people. Or did you see his extensive record? He sped through a stop sign 9 years ago. I mean, it's total crap and it's total lies, but it also demonstrates to you, and I think, Patty, this is a real important piece of it, that there are people who believe that ICE, the Department of Homeland Security itself, has been part of the fabric of this country since its founding fathers. No, since 2002. And ICE since 2003. Post 9/11, with the latitude that it has, intentionally designed to be able to violate our rights in the guise of protecting the homeland from domestic terrorism. That's why you keep hearing them call, whether you're talking about Renee, Silverio, whether you're talking about Keith, any person that they've targeted, or the 32 people that have died in custody, as domestic terrorists. Because if you use those two words, you have the authority to violate their rights, to not have an independent investigation, to kill them and get away with it. Which is why you hear me say, y'all, of course we need to abolish ICE. We didn't have ICE in 2002, 01, and prior to that. And you and I were wrapping up high school, in college maybe, when this happened. This wasn't so long ago. And so people remember that. People remember that it was actually INS, Immigration Naturalization Services, under DOJ. And then this came along. So it's not a radical call to abolish it. But DHS itself, it needs to be dismantled, Patty. Because here's the other thing. People are saying, but Delia, what about FEMA? FEMA was its own agency that was formed in the 60s. FEMA is being robbed every single day under DHS. They're taking FEMA money to put into ICE to execute people in interior cities. These cities, neighborhoods and towns and states that need emergency natural disaster money, they're not getting it. Kristi Noem is sitting on contract after contract after contract that she's unwilling to sign for FEMA. For people worried about FEMA ain't getting what they need. Make it its own agency. For TSA, put it in Department of Transportation. For Coast Guard, put it in Department of Transportation. What else we got? For cybersecurity, more than 25% of their personnel and funding to protect us from cyber attacks just went to DHS to surveil us, to target us, to beat us. So the point is, like, there are some good programs under DHS that need to be removed as quickly as possible, but the agency itself was created to harm us and needs to be dismantled.
And that's the thing but first of all, thank you for thinking I might have been wrapping up college. I appreciate that. I was already married and pregnant with my first child, but that's no, look, and to that point, you're absolutely right. There wasn't this sort of call in the 90s for rounding up Latinos, Hispanics, people from other countries, as much as there was after 9/11. And to manipulate people that way. And to your point about Renee Good, about Marimar Martinez, I mean, the testimony last week was, it's hard because it's not cutting through. And one of the things that I've been talking about on my show are the people who not only are willing to let this happen. I know there are a lot of people who are still, it's background noise for them, but the people who are cheering this on is what is staggeringly disgusting to me. I think when we have that many people losing their humanity, we're losing our democracy. Don't you think?
That's right. I think that's absolutely right, Patty. I mean, just think about it. You have Marimar Martinez, a young United States citizen, talking about the way they targeted her, dragged her, shot her, laughed at it, dragged her in a hospital. For you and I, when we heard of that testimony, I remember I did an interview night. It was hard for me to hold tears. But for so many people who have said all sorts of things about her, who have felt nothing, who have dismissed her, they don't even see her as human. And that's what I said to people for over a year. When you're hearing this president talk about who is an American, he has defined who is American enough for him, who can be American enough. But if you dehumanize us in such a way that you no longer see our humanity, then you give permission to treat us as less than human and then justify what they're doing to us. Patty, you could imagine how much my phones rang yesterday when I called out who they were. The Klansmen that they are, the state patrols of then, inheritors today, doing the same thing. Death threats, of course, all sorts of calls coming and calling me every single dehumanizing name in the book. Because how could I dare to be a Latina, daughter of immigrants, and a United States citizen and call out injustice? And I think that, to your point, it is really heartbreaking because in many cases, it doesn't feel like it's pushing through. We don't have enough of even Democrats, like, really outraged by this moment. And what I keep telling people, and I may have said this last time I was on your show, I say this often, fascism always requires a public enemy. Today is immigrants. It's trans children. It's Black women. Tomorrow it is whoever they deem undesirable or a threat to their fascism. My point, Patty, is like, yeah, you may not feel as compelled because Marimar looks like me and maybe she doesn't look like Alex, but they're coming for all of us. And that execution of Alex demonstrated just that.
I know that we are pushed for time, so I'm not going to take too much of it from you. And you've been, again, so gracious. I do want to talk a little bit about how outrageous the testimony of Pam Bondi was today, that anybody had the nerve to ask her about the abuses, the absolute horrendous actions against children. I mean, it's unfathomable. And then she brings up the Dow Jones. Like, why aren't we talking about how well people are doing when most Americans don't have money? They don't have money in the stock market. They don't have 401ks. And here she is. We should be patting ourselves on the back at the expense. She reminded us that it's about power and money, to your point about what's being made.
I think you're absolutely right. Disgusting. I mean, just think about this. This is the person that's head of the Department of Justice. She's not the economist. She's not head of Fed, right? It's so fascinating that this is her way of not confronting the injustices that are under her watch. She has continued to cover up. It is disgusting. It's why I'm grateful that Congressman Ted Lieu called her out in the way that she lied repeatedly under oath and called her for her resignation. I mean, Patty, let's be frank. Yes, Kristi Noem needs to resign or get impeached, but Pam needs to go with her. So does Pete Hegseth. So does RFK. So does Marco Rubio. Take Stephen Miller with you. Take Tom Homan with you. There's a bunch of them. But in many cases, Patty, when you think about what DOJ, what the State Department is doing, the departments of war, we're not even lying about our obsession with killing and war. Like, these are folks that also ultimately need to be prosecuted for the crimes that under their watch have been done. And shame on us if we think an impeachment is enough.
Thank you so much for that. I really do. Do you have time for two more questions, or do you need to run? One more question, then let's talk to our audience, to our listeners, to your constituents, to people anywhere listening. What do you want them to know? What can they do?
Yeah, look, I'm going to tell you, I just talked to a bunch of students from Lane Tech High School. And one of them, she said to me, I just feel like the government's corrupt. I feel like it doesn't matter what we do. It's not going to change. And I said to her, what you just said is what they're hoping you feel. Change that feeling. There is so much you could do. Because they think that as long as they overwhelm you in such a way, that what you say, what you do will make a difference. But keep showing up. Whether it's showing up at my town halls or town halls of your local electeds. Like, I keep telling people, yes, there is so much frustration at the federal level. There are things we could be doing at the state level, at the city level, at the county level. Keep showing up and keep demanding more of us, not less. Don't make an excuse for me because I'm a Democrat. Ask me, what the heck are you doing to defend me, to fight for me, to uplift the stories of the people being impacted, whether it's in higher ed, whether it's immigration, whether it's my ability to vote. Like, I just debated on SAVE Act. Keep making those calls because sometimes some of us feel very lonely. There is 215 Democrats, but we're not all the same. And so keep showing up, keep making those calls, keep sending those emails, because all of us get a weekly report of the calls that came in and for what. You may think that it goes empty, especially if they don't respond to you. We get a report. And I promise you, they have to be confronted with that report every single week and figure out how they move forward.
I really appreciate
So keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep showing up. Keep loving on people. Keep participating in mutual aid, in deportation defense, in rapid response. Keep using your whistle. Keep using your phone. Keep recording. It's actually how we're winning in the courts.
That is the ferocious fighter from Illinois, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. Thank you so much, my friend. We really appreciate everything that you're doing, and go get them. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Appreciate you. Bye.
You too. Bye.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight with a low temperature of 29 degrees, with winds out of the southeast around 5 miles an hour. Friday, sunshine with a high temperature of 53 and southwest winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, partly sunny with a high temperature of 44. Sunday, sunshine with a high temperature of 51. And for Monday, partly sunny skies with a high temperature around 57 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 34.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
It's the Democracy, Stupid, with Edwin Eisendrath.
Americans in the founding generation didn't fail to build a palace. They chose not to build a palace. George Washington designed the Oval Office, well, its predecessor, so that hierarchies of rank weren't built into gatherings in the space. Trump's golden ballroom is the architectural repudiation of those egalitarian ideals.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. on WCPT 820.
When it comes to banking, you need a bank you can trust. A bank with a rock-solid reputation and the highest integrity. A bank that gives you the attention and respect you deserve.
ABOC first opened its doors in downtown Chicago in 1922, and we've made our name on deep expertise, best-in-class service, and a strong commitment to our customers. We know the Chicago business market inside and out and can help you craft the perfect banking solution, no matter what type of business you're in.
And if you're looking for a banking partner for your labor union, we can bring the type of expertise that only comes from a bank that was founded by labor unions and still has union employees and shareholders to this day.
Whether you need a deposit account, loan, trust services, or investment management, ABOC has you covered. Let's work together to manage your finances today while planning for a better tomorrow. ABOC, a bank built on a strong foundation.
Visit aboc.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we drive it home. I'm thrilled to welcome to the show our good friend, Reid McCollum, who is the chair of the Democratic Party of DuPage County. And they have a gala coming up that we want to tell you about. First of all, Reid, are you staying hydrated? I say that as I don't have a cup in front of me. Are you staying hydrated?
I'm very hydrated. Yes, thank you.
How is everything? How's everything in your neck of the woods, my friend?
We're busy. I mean, it's early voting started. We're in the thick of primary season, but as you mentioned, we're 10 days away from our annual gala, which is really the most important thing that helps us raise money to make sure we're fully defeating MAGA in DuPage County this fall.
And I know that you have, so this is where I want folks to pay attention, because in some instances, for some of these races, the primary is the election, because, you're choosing a Democrat who will hopefully most likely be the winner anyway. Not anyway. You know what I'm saying? I know there's still a lot of work to do. But you also have some candidates do you have some first-time candidates who are running for some seats that are unopposed, and you want them out there getting that word out about voting too? Like, tell me the different layers of this.
I mean, well, it's county board races, it is state house, state senate, county-wide, so we now have just one Democratic candidate for sheriff, and we have the opportunity. So that's an uncontested primary now on the Democratic side, but we have the opportunity to elect our first Democratic sheriff in DuPage County since 1845. And to grow our majorities in the county board, which is just so critically important. Our county board in DuPage opened a 24/7 crisis recovery center to help people of all ages with mental health. It's saving lives every day. And, this event that we have will help us make sure that we flip a handful of additional races that are really important. We can elect a Democratic treasurer, defeating a Republican who is in her 80s, who's been there for a long, long time. I mentioned the sheriff's race, several really competitive county board races, so I'm already thinking past the primary, because we have Democrats, we have great Democrats running against great Democrats. And
I know. It's hard, isn't it?
It gets contentious, and it's a lot of fun. And, voters are out there, doing their research. We're knocking a ton of doors, but this will shift towards trying to make sure that we're stopping MAGA extremists in the fall in DuPage County, and really protecting our community. The work that happens at the local level and at the county level is really important, as we saw last year with, winning all of the township races in DuPage. Like, those are local elected offices that take care of, the food pantries and senior services that are instrumental in protecting the most vulnerable folks in our community. So, while we're all fighting back against Donald Trump each and every day, try to keep ICE out of our communities, it is the elected officials that can really help be part of that. And just as the Congresswoman said, as your last guest, like, we're fighting the sense that there's nothing that we can do and that we should just give up, which is exactly what Trump and the Republicans want us to do. Mm-hmm. Our gala it's living proof that joy is a form of resistance, but it also literally tangibly helps us have the resources to fight back. And we couldn't be luckier to have just a phenomenal keynote speaker in David Hogg, who, as you know, founded March for Our Lives after the Parkland school shooting in 2018. And the 8-year anniversary of the Parkland school shooting is in 2 days. And so he's going to be our keynote speaker. He's leading an organization that he co-founded, I believe, last year called Leaders We Deserve, that helps recruit young folks to run for every level of office. He just does incredible work. He's incredibly inspiring. So he's our keynote speaker next Sunday at our gala. And we also have all the major U.S. Senate candidates, a bunch of members of Congress. Congresswoman Delia Ramirez will be there and speaking. And she's one of the most, just important voices that we have in politics right now.
I agree. We just aired an interview that we had with her, and I was excited because I knew her as a local legislator, and to see her just take on basically all the horrors that are going on right now and having a vision for what needs to happen next is crucial, because we have a lot of folks who don't seem to want to step into the fray, kind of like, let's see how it works out and tell us things like, and I won't go into any names, but like that we need to be fighting harder, that we need to be doing all these things. And she's like, here's what needs to happen, and here's who needs to be held accountable. And to that, are you talking to some of the folks running for these seats federally? Because obviously, like you mentioned, there's a lot of candidates running in the primary, so you're not getting in the middle of that as to like, you're not putting a slate together. You're just kind of waiting to see how the dust settles with the primary.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's important for folks to know they think about, I'm not going to throw any shade here at Cook County or Chicago, but they're much larger. They do slating. In DuPage County, we don't do slating. There's no endorsed slate of Democrats. So, we do encourage contested primaries, sometimes as chair, just as any county Democratic chair. I'll endorse, but I tend not to. Yeah. So we usually let voters actually decide, which is important. What? And, that's how democracy works. If people aren't familiar with it. And, at the same time, it's like First Amendment rights I think there's a balance, because as a elected volunteer chair, like, I have opinions too, and I'm allowed to express those opinions. But, that's very different than formal slating or discouraging people from running, or, taking resources away from them and access to data and things like that. So
I have no idea what you're talking about. Carry on.
Yeah, so it's there's a lot of voter contact happening across DuPage. There's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of really fantastic candidates, and the big picture is that every single one of those folks, I think, is strongly preferable to any Republican who is tying themselves to the party of Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, and the fascist cult that is the Republican Party in 2026.
Yeah, I agree. And to that, as far as, what I think is important, what you were talking about is, having the candidates out there pushing each other, kind of. We even see this with the Senate seat that when we had our debate last week with Congresswoman Kelly, Congressman Christian Murphy, and Lieutenant Governor Stratton, was that, like, I feel like they're kind of pushing each other to see things and stake out territory that they might not otherwise have, because they're seeing what people are responding to as well, what people want, what they need, because they're out there hopefully listening and sharing their platform. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think it's healthy to have a contested primary. I think we've got great candidates for Senate, great candidates for comptroller, in a lot of cases, more than we've ever had great candidates for Congress in all these seats where folks are retiring or not retiring. And that's the functional democracy that we want. It's going to be messy. And people should advocate for their ideas in sort of, ideally a positive way. And, I think we'll have a lot of that on display at our gala. It's a huge coalition of folks that will be there across the political spectrum that is the Democratic Party. And we're all fighting fascism as best we know how. And, nobody's perfect. And we'd still love for folks to buy tickets and join us and help us have the resources to squash MAGA in DuPage County this fall.
I love it. So that's the DuPage County. Hold on a second. Let me get all the information up. The gala is going to be happening on February 20. Is it February? What day? I don't have a date in front of me.
22nd.
Oh, 22nd.
So,
it is the 22nd.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure
Sunday
if
evening.
That's my fault. I was like, is it your 22nd gala or is it on February 22nd? It was just the way my brain was working. So I want to encourage folks because I mean, maybe I'm a politics dork, but that's my podcast. I can't be politics girl, but I can be politics dork. But these are fun. Tell folks. I mean, a lot of the candidates will be there. They'll be, sharing their campaign information. Some of them will speak. Let folks know what to expect at this event. In addition to David Ho speaking.
First of all, there's alcohol. I mean, it starts at 5:30 with a cocktail hour. You dress up. I'm wearing literally my wedding tux from 2010. I still fit. There's a youth reception. I had to get that in there. There's a youth reception with David Hogg for young folks at 6:00, and that can be a life-changing experience for high school students, young folks, just to hear from somebody that's been doing that much activism since being a survivor of a mass shooting.
Yeah.
And then we have the program. We just have incredible speakers, all the major Senate candidates. Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, David Hogg is phenomenal from the dais. And we keep it moving. It's fast paced. It's just a lot of fun to be surrounded by so many like-minded folks, sort of all, it's really lively. We kind of, it runs more like live TV, not to brag, but
nice.
It's not, these aren't boring, long-winded speeches that we've got. We had, last year it was on the same night as the Oscars, and when people talked more than their 3 minutes, like we played the music, we have a DJ, we keep it going. There's great food. The Drury Lane, if folks haven't been, is a fantastic venue.
That's great,
and it's almost as big as a college football stadium. So we're not gonna sell out.
Oh, that's fantastic. Again, the best place for folks to go, DuPageDemocrats.com is it the best spot?
DuPageDemocrats.com. Buy your tickets, and we'll see you there.
Okay, so when you say that there's a youth event at 6:00, is that separately ticketed or?
It's
how
not
does that
separately
work?
ticketed. It's essentially, the cocktail hour, doors open at 5:30, and then we just sort of round up all of the younger folks and get them into a special side ballroom with David Hogg, and we'll just talk to all of them, take a photo. We did that last year when our keynote speaker was Anderson Clayton, the
she's great.
Youngest state party chair in the country, elected at the age of 23, just absolutely crushing it. So we had Anderson Clayton and Nabila Syed last year in the youth reception. This year it's David Hogg, and just we'll have a few dozen young folks, high school students on free tickets that we find sponsors for, to make sure that the average age of our gala is a little younger than 60. But we might have, I'm going to say we'll have well over 100 folks there that are in their 20s or teens. So.
Oh, great. So again, folks, you can go to, one second, I just lost the tab, but it's DuPageCountyDemocrats.com.
DuPageDemocrats.com.
DuPageDemocrats.com, and you'll go to the link. It will take you to Act Blue. That's where you purchase your tickets. There are different prices, though, for young Dems who are 29 and younger. So that's a differently priced ticket. So if you bring some young folks with you to this incredible event. Again, it's going to be Sunday, February 22nd. Cocktails at 5:30, dinner and program at 6:30, but the young Democrat event is at 6:00, so they'll be shown the way to hang out and have a conversation with David Hogg. Again, that's at Drury Lane at Oakbrook Terrace, and we're really excited. And I'm excited to have you in studio soon. I hear that's fantastic.
Love to come. So
fantastic. I'm excited. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon. Have a great event.
You too, Patty. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care. Let's take a break here. The phone lines are open, 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. That's the number to join our conversation. And we will be right back after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150.
If you're an experienced homeowner who's outlived your assets or your spouse recently passed away, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local reverse mortgage lender. Alice, 90, widow, income $24,000 a year, living in a $500,000 home with no mortgage. Alice's husband recently passed away, and she was terrified about losing her home, so her daughter called for information about a reverse mortgage. We helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage, which allowed her to access $300,000 tax-free dollars so she could afford in-home health care. Let's review. Alice's husband recently passed away. She outlived her assets and thought she had to sell her home. Our reverse mortgage expert, Jose Rodriguez, helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage so she could afford in-home health care and peacefully age in in place. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
Race into savings now at Menards. Mastercraft makes great doors inside and out, building the highest quality doors in a wide variety of styles. Add beauty to your home with interior doors from Mastercraft. Shop our huge in-stock selection or design your door your way in-store or online. Plus, view our weekly flyer on Menards.com and race to savings on Mastercraft doors today.
Save big money at Menards.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
We need to speak out about this.
At 773-763-9278.
Hello, hello.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our drive home. I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. The phone lines and the text line are all open, 773-763-9278. That's the number to call and join our conversation. There is a lot going on everywhere. We were talking before at the beginning of the show about some, Congresswoman Delia Ramirez talked about defunding, dismantling DHS and ICE. And it is interesting. I know that some folks, like, well, that sounds a lot like defund the police and things like that, even though that wasn't even necessarily the language that some folks were using, and that took off, and it was used to make people afraid of Democrats, that we want lawlessness and all. And the idea that we get painted that way is insane when the people who are breaking the laws right in front of us are those who are employed by the federal government, whether it's at the highest levels of power or if it's on our streets violating the Constitution, blowing right through the First Amendment rights, even Second Amendment rights with Alex Preddy, the Fourth Amendment by busting down doors, taking people from their homes without warrants, not using due process. I mean, like, again, the idea that we are the ones that are painted as lawlessness, and they kind of think that they are the party of law and order is rich, because it's insane. I mean, and then to be afraid to dismantle or defund ICE or DHS, and yet for years, was it Rick Perry? Wasn't it the governor was it the governor of Texas that was running on dismantling energy? I remember this from like 15 years ago. I feel like it was a while ago. He wanted to dismantle the Department of Energy, the Department of Education. And I remember just thinking like how crazy that was. And all of a sudden that took off, and they've accomplished it with Linda McMahon, who was the wrestling lady, with no regard for what the Department of Education does and how it stabilizes our education system across the country, in particular with protections for students who are marginalized, like students who have disabilities. At any rate, so the fact that we're I don't know if we should say that, and they are out there with their full chest saying we should dismantle the Department of Education and then following through on it. I don't know. It's just super crazy. There's so many things happening now. I guess we haven't even talked about Pam Bondi, who, not just in her testimony yesterday, did you guys catch this? I haven't heard it on the AP, and I know it might be more of a social media thing, but people are talking about, you can see the images of Pam Bondi and one of the sheets that she's holding. So she has a burn book, and if you're listening to Stephanie Miller, they do a great job of going over the elements of the burn book and how she had some comeback for every single legislator they had put together, say this about how they invest things. She called a legislator who is a descendant of Holocaust survivors anti-Semitic. Well, And then like sat there and smiled about it. Congressman Jay Paul, she said that, and I can't remember what her slur for her was, but as she was sitting there, she had Congressman Jay Paul's search history for the Epstein documents when she was in that room viewing the redacted article elements of that file. So they were spying on her. They were surveilling legislators as they were looking through the unredacted Epstein files. How is that separation of our branches? How is the DOJ surveilling legislators? Okay, that was one thing that really bothered me. There's so many things. Allegedly, the Republicans are. I always hate these things where like there's some content creators who come across as journalists. I want to make this clear. I am not a journalist. I think I've said that repeatedly, and I think Stephanie Miller had someone complaining to her about not just doing the news. We are not journalists. I'm not a journalist. I'm a commentator. I know some people will say I'm a journalist by whatever. I don't do the who. I mean, I will talk about the who, what, where, and how, and why, and sometimes how, but I also put my opinion on it. I'm like, it's like saying Fox News. It's like saying Sean Hannity's a journalist. He's not a journalist, and I hate saying that I'm anything like Sean Hannity. It's hard to say out loud. Paul, how are you doing in Seattle, my friend?
Just basking in the glow of victory. So that's all.
You're basking in the glow of victory?
Well, yeah. Maybe you didn't hear that the Seattle Seahawks are the Super Bowl champions of the world. But it was been overshadowed by the halftime show in Spanish somehow.
Sorry. Was there a game? Lady B, did you know there was a game at the Bad Bunny performance?
Yeah. And it's really funny is that how people say the game was boring when the two top-seeded teams, no, it was boring because the Seattle Seahawks kicked the living crap out of the Patriots. That's why it was boring.
Well, it was a heavy defense game, which is fine. But it was fun. Yes.
Wait, the Seahawks still scored 29 points. That's a high-scoring game.
I
At
know.
least for
At first, it was boring.
Yeah.
You have to admit it was boring for a little while. 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. Just saying. It was wasn't it 12-0 game for a while?
It was 15-0. Actually, yeah, it was 15. Yeah. No, actually, it was 19-0 until, it was 19. It was basically the Patriots. And then somebody said it was a close game. It's like, no, the Patriots scored their points after the game was almost over. So it's like, no, it wasn't close. Anyway, I was just going to say about, Rick Perry, he wanted to defund 3 departments, education, energy, and I think, as he said, I forgot the other one. Maybe I said that at the debate. Remember that?
That's right. He couldn't remember. He couldn't remember what the third one was. I do remember that.
Yeah, okay. So I was just going to say quickly about Tom Homan saying that it was a great success in Indianapolis because there were 4,000 arrests. If it was a great success, he'd be telling us how many, worst of the worst illegals they deported. He wouldn't be telling, because I would say probably 70% of the arrests were illegitimate because they're arresting American citizens. So when you're reporting on arrests, it's kind of like you can't ask somebody on a job application, have you been arrested? It's like, have you been convicted is the question. That's the question. Just asking if you've been arrested is irrelevant. It depends on, whether the charges were ever tried or convicted. But you know what I would say about Pam Bondi? That woman.
Is it fit for radio? Because I have to watch the button when I talk about her. Go ahead.
Oh. Well, I have to just say, here's what happened, what Pam Bondi did after the hearing. She went back to her office and just bitched up and down until the 2 milligrams of Ativan took effect. And then she went home and had about 3 martinis, and then she was out cold for probably about 18 hours. That woman is headed for a serious mental crash. And I think that
there's something about the deluded, right? The people in these sorts of, because you would think any one of them would crash. I mean, she crashed out publicly by screaming and interrupting and having it burned, all that stuff. But this seems to be like these are the waters that they tread in, right? This is what they do. They throw BS. I mean, like Lauren Boebert's still out there being crazy, and all of these people, all of them. This is what they do.
Well, you can do that for a while in life, and you can only maintain that. Now, Donald Trump, if you sink down to the level where he can't respond anymore. No, he's not. He is beyond that. But some of these people, I don't know. I don't think are as mentally ill as he is. But he is going to, and I think Kristi Noem is headed for the same thing. They're going to have to. They're going to wake up one day, and it's when prosecutors, serve them with what you did while you were in office. It's going to slap them in the face with it, like a cold slap in the face. It's going to wake them up, and when they have to account for what they did, for absolutely no reward and no sense of valuable contribution. This is just such a scam. These people are, who did Tom Hartman said, somebody he referred to as maybe have a tragic flaw, and I just thought, no. In order to be a tragic character, you have to have at least one redeeming quality. That's what makes it tragic.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't be a tragic. Yeah, you can't be a tragic character if you're just plain evil. That's not tragic. That's just plain evil.
It's true. I got to run it. Yeah. I'm late for the break. Thanks so much for calling, Paul. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. It was such a great thing to see around that concert. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Let's take a break here. We'll be right back after this on WCPT 820 KKNW.
Who is Kevin Ryan? Hey, that's me. I'm a Chicago public school teacher, union member, and Marine Corps veteran. Most importantly, I am a New Deal Democrat from a new generation, and I am running for the United States Senate to make our government work for all of us, not just the 1%. Now, you might not have heard of me because, well, I am just like you. I don't have millions of dollars to spend on TV ads, I'm not backed by a billionaire, and I've been excluded from the debates because I refuse to raise millions of dollars from the 1%. Instead, I am backed by ordinary people like you. I'm the only candidate to campaign in all 102 counties in my campaign school bus, and we fund our campaign by simply passing a hat around. So we thought we'd spend some of that money to introduce our campaign to you on WCPT Radio. If you want to send a real progressive to the United States Senate and not another bought and paid for Democrat, go to kevinryan.com. Spread the word and vote for the candidate endorsed by Illinois progressives. My name is Kevin Ryan. I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by people of Illinois and Kevin Ryan.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now, in-store, and online. Staples. That was easy.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. New wrinkle in the Jeffrey Epstein saga. Saka Magani reports the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee is accusing the Justice Department of spying on lawmakers who reviewed less redacted files.
Jamie Raskin wants a watchdog probe after photos emerged from yesterday's House Judiciary Committee hearing showing Attorney General Pam Bondi holding a binder open to a page labeled Jayapal Pramila Search History with a list of documents that were apparently reviewed. Pramila Jayapal was among Democrats who tangled with Bondi yesterday.
And when I will reclaim my time,
Mr. Chairman, the gentlelady has reclaimed her time.
I'm not going to get in the gutter for her theatrics.
Raskin, the Judiciary panel's top Democrat, also lit into Bondi.
You're running a massive Epstein cover-up right out of the Department of Justice.
Among other things, Raskin says the department must publicly release all Epstein files with only survivor information redacted. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The Trump administration says it is ending its immigration crackdown in Minnesota. A shutdown for the Department of Homeland Security appears certain, with talks over new limits on immigration operations stalled, and lawmakers set to leave Washington on a 10-day break. The EPA's revoked a scientific finding that supported regulations on greenhouse gas emissions. Annette Donahue has the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie.
Investigators in Arizona are pleading with people to share home surveillance camera footage from specific dates leading up to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie. Ann Adams is a neighbor.
They were just asking some general questions, wondering if there was any information we could shed on the Nancy Guthrie issue. Wanted to look around the property and asked about cameras and such.
Guthrie was last seen almost 2 weeks ago. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is AP News. Dealing with a school shooting.
In a small town of 2,700 people in the Canadian Rockies, northeast of Vancouver, the parents of 12-year-old Kylie Smith, a student who was killed in the Tumbler Ridge school shooting Tuesday, described her as a beautiful soul. Her father, Lance Youngs,
she never hurt a soul. She was
a supporter, LGBTQ supporter, and she was the last person who ever deserved this.
Her father says his last sight of Kylie was as she was getting ready to go to school with her brother.
I didn't know it would be the last time they'd go to school together.
Her father asked that people stop giving the shooter recognition and to remember the victims instead.
So let's put their pictures up, please, and remember them, not this murderer.
Sound courtesy CTV. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight with a low temperature of 29 degrees, with winds out of the southeast around 5 miles an hour. Friday, sunshine with a high temperature of 53 and southwest winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, partly sunny with a high temperature of 44. Sunday, sunshine with a high temperature of 51. And for Monday, partly sunny skies with a high temperature around 57 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 34.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Well, hello, and thank you so much for joining us. We're thrilled to have you here for this hour of conversation. The number is 773-763-9278 if you want to join us by calling or texting. I know some of you listen to this later in the evening or perhaps the day after, or because you can listen to us on all the podcast platforms. It's just, you can find us anywhere. I'm just saying. You can listen to us live. You can also watch the live stream on Facebook and YouTube, which then you can also, if you didn't catch it in real time or you want to go back and hear something again, you can scroll right through on Facebook or YouTube. You can also listen to us. You can also rate and share this podcast, Driving It Home, full episodes and featured interview podcasts available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeart, YouTube, and Amazon Music. Some of my latest additions to those featured interview podcasts are Illinois Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. Did I add a syllable? Delia Ramirez. We have political analyst Corbin Trent, Minnesota State Senator Majority Leader Aaron Murphy, just to name a few. So you can go to just search for Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez, or you can visit our podcast page at heartlandsignal.com. And I want to thank our sponsors for all their continued support. I want to thank you all for being here. Those of you who I know tune in as much as you can to see what's going on. Stay up to date on all the events, all the calls to action. Stay up to date on what's happening in the news. Our take on things, whether it's me or the listeners. We love that you're joining us. I also want to thank our friends who are listening on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. That is good news, I guess. Do we trust any of these guys? Do we trust Homan? Do we trust this regime to, withdraw? But it's a step in the right direction. There's so much more that needs to happen. We need to address all the abuses that happen, the violations of constitutional right, the abuse of human rights, people who are still being detained, some of them illegally, people who were not afforded their constitutional rights. I so get tired of hearing some people say that people who are not documented don't have due process rights, because how do you determine that they're here without documentation if you don't give them due process? I mean, it's a process that they are due in order to determine whether or not they should be held. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. We can all tell that I'm not a rocket scientist, everybody. I'm not a legal scholar, and the Fourth Amendment also applies. These are all rights that apply to anybody who's in the United States and has to deal with our law enforcement, with our laws. They have to follow all of our laws. So why would, when we are enforcing our laws, not then afford them the rights of our Constitution if we're making them follow our laws? I'm just saying. At any rate, Minneapolis, there's so much more that needs to be done. We know that the people who are being detained, all the damage that has been done to humans, to property, to businesses. And I don't know how this shakes out. I don't know what that path forward looks like. But thank you so much for everything you're doing. I know that the fight is not over. And we know that it's just a matter of time before they figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it next, because they have bought massive properties and warehouses. They're building tent cities in places all over Texas. They just got one in Georgia for $180 million. And we know that there are detainees that are trying to get notes out to people, to protesters, in any way they can, that they haven't seen sunlight in 300 days. They haven't had fresh fruit and vegetables. They're not having access to basic sanitary needs. There's not proper places to sleep. There's abuses. There was an immigrant who was killed by, and I'm not using that word, he was murdered. The coroner ruled it a homicide by asphyxiation. And there have been more deaths in the last year than there were from 2019 until 2024 in just 1 year alone. Anyway, so it's just a matter of time before they figure out, because they have. Oh, did I mention this? They have 12,000 more agents poised to be dispersed across our country. I'm just saying, 12,000. Think about that. There were 3,000 in Minneapolis, which was outnumbering their police force. So where are they going to put all? I mean, they're coming from more than just the blue cities. By the way, there are more undocumented immigrants in red states. I don't know if there's more, but there's a lot. That's something I can't. I don't want people to get mad at me. Someone can do the research. I have to do it during a break. But there are a significant number of undocumented workers, but those are in states where they appreciate the fact that they're like, hey, don't come and take our workers, because we still need our vegetables and all of our produce picked. We need our houses built. We need construction work done all over the place. We need cheap labor. And that was what was so crazy. Last year, we put up a piece on Facebook about how much farmers are struggling because they are having a hard time getting workers. 40% of the ag workers are undocumented. Right. But instead, MAGA all have these talking points that whenever something pops up that they know someone's talking about, they start bombarding us with, oh, you want to go back to slavery. You want to have you're mad. You don't have your slave. I don't. Hey, I wasn't the one out there crying about eggs and about how much the grocery bill was. We all know it's going up now. But I'm talking about when Biden was president. I wasn't out there screaming about that and saying we need to have cheap labor. I wasn't doing that. And you guys. There were so many reasons that was happening. But at any rate, the farmers, the rate of bankruptcies is skyrocketing. The number of farms, the tariffs are affecting their ability to buy supplies. The fact that China is looking to other countries to make orders for soybean and corn is driving these farmers off the land they've had, some of them, for generations. So at any rate, the piece was called... when you own the libs and lose the farm. And that made people really angry. Only that's what's coming to. I'm just saying. What do you think is going to be happening this spring? There are tons of farmers, and this is what we try to get across to folks. I'm sad for the farmers. I'm sad for everybody, because our agricultural landscape is being decimated by this regime. And I was fighting for the farmers too. That's the hard part to get across to folks. All these culture wars because I don't want men in bath and girls' bathrooms, which is a completely generated idea. It's so insane. Nobody leaves the bathroom hoping they can go into more cis men commit violent crimes to men and women than any other part of the population. I mean, and cis white men. I'm just not that. Okay. So, and Americans. I'm just saying. Okay. At any rate, the amount of suffering in this country is absolutely ridiculous. And the amount of money that we're spending to inflict harm on human beings. $85 billion they've got. Now they're fighting over the funding and whether or not they're going to keep ICE funded or not, and whether or not they'll change the way they train them, their practices, whether they have to take their masks off and wear body cam. I mean, at the very least, take your mask off. Okay. I started this hour yelling again, I feel like. I do want to thank our sponsors for giving me this opportunity to prattle on. The sponsors of the show include our friends at Source Solar. Go to source.solar and put in an order, at least maybe an appointment, to talk to Peter Sorellis about the possibility of getting solar panels on your house or business. That's source.solar, and we'll have Peter on again. I know he's traveling right now. We're going to schedule a phone call so he can answer some of your questions. But if you missed our last interview with him and Warren in studio, you can go to heartlandsignal.com and scroll down and find that interview on my show page. That's with Peter Sorellis and Warren Price. And that's source.solar to learn more about the great work that they do. Also, I encourage you to go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. That's where you can pick up some of the best, seriously, well, my favorite single origin roasted beans. And I love that you can click on each, like the flags of the country. You're like, oh, maybe I want to buy some beans from Mexico. Well, you should do that because you have the opportunity. You go right to their page. You go to shop now. You see, oh, I got Rwanda. What are these? What are the coffee beans? What are the notes? What are the notes from Rwanda? Brown sugar and nutty chocolate. I like that very much because I am nutty and it's appropriate for me. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. When you put your order in for your single origin roasted beans, they roast them right away. They just, you click the button and like a bell goes off. That's the way I imagine it. Like a bell. It's a bell with a light. That's the way I see it. And like like a domino that sets the entire machine, right? It like tumbles down, flips the switch, drops your selected beans into the roaster. That's Patty and Jackie are sitting there right now, really frustrated with the way I'm describing that because it's much more complicated. Right? You can also order a bean subscription for delivery. Their subscription service. You can also ask that for pickup. Every month you'll get one of their signature single origin bags of coffee along with another bag of their fun featured blends. So go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. We also want to send you to MinaquaBrewingCompany.com. And I'm not going to beg. It's always funny when you listen to or watch a network or station that has a subscription series and they're like, it's time to ask you for money. But if you wouldn't mind, we have a Kickstarter for Minocqua Brewing Company's marketplace where there are over 80 vendors providing all kinds of great products, including, of course, coffee, wine, beer, t-shirts, tote bags, jewelry, home goods, all that stuff. And we are trying to expand that to compete with Amazon. We're trying to find vendors and work with vendors who will supply the everyday goods that you need so that you are not giving more money to the corporations that are being taxed so slightly. It's insane. In exchange for the tax cuts that they got, they cut $950 billion from Medicare and Medicaid. I'm just saying. So go to MinaquaBrewingCompany.com and consider joining our Kickstarter. And you can also go to the website to find some of the great progressive beers, great T-shirts, and also subscribe to our Substack. MinaquaBrewingCompany.com. You get all that information right there. Coming up on the rest of the show today, we have we have a lot of great guests. I know at 6:30 we're going to talk to Jay Kanzler, who's a lawyer and a radio personality in St. Louis. He's also the director of the only movie that I think it's the only movie I have lines in. I got to shoot a scene with Shannon Elizabeth of American Pie fame, and it was very fun. I had to play a waitress who was very... I just realized I'm always cast as somebody who's a little contentious. I get into an art. I do. I am Mean Nurse Patty on Chicago Fire, and I am the contentious waitress in... What does that say about? I mean, I feel like maybe I'm just a one-trick pony, which is fine. I will go toe-to-toe with anybody. But yes, we were in Marshall the Miracle Dog movie with Lauren Holly, Shannon Elizabeth, and Jay was gracious enough to cast me and fellow comedian Greg Warren, who plays a coach in that movie. So anyway, he'll be joining us at 6:30, and coming up before then, we have other conversations to have with you. I can't find the screen. I will just pull up my. Let's just get to our next guest, who's joining us in just a moment. We're so thrilled that you're all here. Again, the number, by the way, to call or text is 773-763-9278. Again, that number is 773-763-9278. And we're going to be joined by Dan Facchini, Managing Director of Innovation DuPage. More after this on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 and KTNF AM 950. Thank you all for being here.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
According to a recent Pew Research Center survey, a majority of parents of kids age 11 to 12 said their kid has a smartphone. Now that's younger than the prevailing science would suggest is a good idea. Their brains just haven't developed enough yet to handle social media and everything that comes with it. Yes, the peer pressure for you and your kids. That can be intense. That's why experts we talked to said it's important to broach this topic with other parents in your kid's class. Maybe you reach an agreement that everyone holds off. If you're concerned about being able to reach your son or daughter, consider getting them an old-school phone that can make calls and send text messages, but not access the internet. Or a few of my friends have recently gotten their kids smartwatches. With these, they can also track their location. There are other options. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hot foot it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
And thank you so much for joining us to continue the conversation. Interesting to come out of a Source Solar commercial about solar panels and talk to our friend Dan Facchini, Managing Director for Innovation DuPage. Thank you so much for joining us today, our friend.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about Innovation DuPage, ID.
So Innovation DuPage is a business incubator and accelerator. We're located in Glen Ellen, primarily serving DuPage County, but about 35% of the companies we serve are from outside of DuPage County. So there's no electric fence around DuPage County limit us to serve other companies. But
sure.
What we're trying to do is helping small businesses and entrepreneurs with any business needs that they might have.
And so, because is that like people sometimes have an idea, right? And they maybe have gotten started. They have all these plans. They're worried about what their logo is going to be, what font should be, all those kinds of things. And then maybe they don't quite know all the other elements. Is that part of how you help them incubate?
Yeah, so a company would come to us, and if they're at that very early ideate stage, we'll try to help them out and figure out what resources we can help them with. So people come at different stages. We have marketing interns, we have marketing staff that can help them with that. We also have a lot of academic partners that have students that want to work on projects, marketing projects, and we can connect them with those folks. But they might be coming in and they just need to flesh out their sales strategy. They might not have a business plan yet. They might not know that there's a great business development center right upstairs from us in the Civic Center in Glen Ellen. So we'll start connecting them quickly to resources so they can start building and growing their business.
And so, like, is it for? I mean, what would you say is the range? Anything from tech to? I see that you have our friend Melissa Villanueva, who has the coffee shop, right? All the different. It seems like it's a wide range of backgrounds and needs.
Yeah, so we're by choice, we're industry agnostic. So basically, we'll serve everybody. And we're connected to College of DuPage, a community college. So we are here to serve the community and help small businesses grow. So when I look at our portfolio of companies, about 50% of them are Main Street companies. So like Melissa's company, a coffee shop. We have a hot sauce company. We have an ice cream company now. So a wide range of, so look for Gindo's hot sauce and you can look for Rosebud ice cream.
Hot sauce. I was going to ask you who, but we love Gindo's. Oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. They were both Melissa and the Ginders took place in our Owner to CEO Business Accelerator program, which is like a 10-week program for existing small businesses. So we kind of put them through it's mostly virtual and it's 2 nights a week and it's 10 weeks. It's like a mini MBA program. And we try to help them scale their business. So we get them from thinking on what they're doing in their business to figuring out how to work on their business. But that's half of our companies are those Main Street companies. The other half are tech companies. A lot of them now working in clean energy.
That's fantastic. I love this idea because, like I said, people might have an idea. They just don't know where to get started. They'll write notes to themselves, and it just dies on the vine. An idea sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's great when people come in. We get a lot of your standard entrepreneur is not this 20-something who's trying to, catch the world by the tail. They're that mid-career professional that might already have another job and they're going to moonlight at doing this until they figure out, hey, I can, leave my regular grind and I'm ready to go all in on my idea. And so for those folks that are doing that as they're moonlighting and they're writing down their notes, they can come to us and we'll see how we can help them build their business.
I love that. We are talking to our friends from Innovation DuPage. You can go to innovationdupage.org to get more information. And we're talking to the managing director, Dan Facchini. Now, so you mentioned, I think this is really important because even though it says Innovation DuPage, you mentioned that it's 2 nights a week for this particular program that our friend Melissa and the Ginders went through. It's 2 nights a week virtual. And then presumably there's some, in-person elements to it. But that means people can do this from anywhere.
Right. And that's really that started over COVID, actually, because so we started doing that by necessity so we can still help people with their program. And we kept it that way because then it gave us a broader footprint and it allowed for more flexibility for folks so they didn't have to come in person all the way to Glen Ellen. So now we can reach people in the city. We can meet people in the suburbs. We've even had people out of state take the course. And the course is free. So we don't charge for that either. We don't charge for it. So
I don't understand what's happening. What? So okay, go ahead, continue. I'm signing up right now. I have an idea for a business, and so I will do this.
So the course is totally free. We have sponsors, that help us with the cost of the program. So there's no cost to participant at all.
Oh, here, you keep talking. I'm just going to fill out the paperwork right now to sign up for. No, I've been working on it. Did Jerry book this on purpose? Because he's like, stop telling me this idea you have and get off. This is what it's about, though. It's the one thing that gets you off your tuchus. My words, not yours.
Yeah. Now just for clarity, the owner to CEO program is for existing small businesses.
That's
so
fine.
that those are people who have been 2 years in business, have 200,000 in sales, and at least 2 employees.
Thank you.
So
That's
those
important. I will get there.
Yeah, very, very important for those companies that are already existing to help them scale. But if you're not there yet, we'll bring you into the incubator and start connecting with you with resources on a one-on-one basis.
Okay.
And membership at Innovation DuPage can start as low as $50 a month.
Hey, again, like I said, these are things that I mean, if I want to get to 200,000, I think I can spend $50 a month. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, because I think people just feel like, well, I don't want to go back to business school. I don't know where to get started. How much is it also learning how important social media is? Because that's something I think some people like. So to be clear, I'm a stand-up comic. I've been a stand-up comedian for over 30 years. So my industry has changed. For people in my peer group, let's say, a lot of us are still not able to like make that leap because comedy clubs want social media stars. Like it's not going on the Tonight Show or Letterman anymore. This is the leap. So how is that playing a role in the work that you're doing with folks?
Well, that's interesting. Well, we do a variety of different things. We try to use our social networks as much as possible. We have staff on hand that put together reels for people so that they can showcase those on social media. So, and then again, we have like different marketing projects that we connect folks with so that we can get that help. We can get you interns to support you. And in our Intern Plus program, what happens is Innovation DuPage picks up half the cost of an hourly wage for a student to support you. So if it would cost a student $15 an hour, we'll pick up $7.50 of that, and you'd pick up the other $7.50. And, the student can help you with your social media.
Outstanding. Now, you were one of only 4 organizations in Illinois chosen for the state's Clean Energy Initiative. So tell us a little bit about that. Like that, you mentioned it a moment ago, but just kind of expand on that a little bit for our audience too, and how important that is.
So we are a grantee under the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act. So that is being administered by the state of Illinois. And basically we get this grant money to really focus and hone what we've been doing for the past 7 years on clean energy companies. So there's companies in solar, there's companies in wind, there's companies in geothermal. We have technology coming out of both Argonne and Fermilab coming to us, but then we have regular contractors who are like, doing their thing in the construction industry, but they haven't figured out how to pivot to solar installation. So we're helping them figure it out.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing this all with us. So, folks, if you have a business that's been in operation for at least 2 years, you said, and revenue of $200,000 or two employees, there's a lot of twos.
Yes.
Did you do that on purpose? Two and two.
2 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah, really easy. 2 employees, 2 years in business, 200,000 in sales.
And so that's owner to CEO 10-week business acceleration program is free.
Yes. And so is participation in our Clean Energy Incubator program too. So if you are a small business, a contractor who is working in solar or green tech in some way, give us a call and we're going to see how we can help you grow your business as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. I'm inspired. I think some other people might be as well. We'd love to have you back to talk more about Innovation DuPage. Thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you have events coming up. Should we tell people about that real quick? Are these open to the public or are these for folks that are already involved?
February 26th, we have the Midwest Innovation and Entrepreneurship Summit. So you can go on our page. It's a full day of speakers we have some inspiring entrepreneurs on there. And then additionally, a lot of the instructors in our courses are coming on to really, and a lot of our partners will be there too in order to talk about these exact same things. How do you grow your business?
I want you back because I also want to talk about your neurodiverse entrepreneur program. We're out of time, so that's a reason to have you back very soon.
All right. Well, next time then.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. That was great. I've learned so much already, and I'm inspired. Have a great night, my friend.
Thanks. You too.
Take care. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk to Jay Kanzler. Again, that's Innovation DuPage. InnovationDuPage.org, everyone. Go to the website right now. Go.
You're listening to WCPT
Thanks,
820.
Have a
Here's
good
the
one.
latest Chicago weather update.
All right.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Partly cloudy tonight with a low temperature of 29 degrees, with winds out of the southeast around 5 miles an hour. Friday, sunshine with a high temperature of 53 and southwest winds at 10 to 20. Saturday, partly sunny with a high temperature of 44. Sunday, sunshine with a high temperature of 51. And for Monday, partly sunny skies with a high temperature around 57 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 34.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
This is WCPT telling you how you can shop blue. Donald Trump has implemented a barbaric anti-immigration policy with mass deportations and having ICE agents showing up unannounced at people's homes, workplaces, and anywhere they suspect, separating families, ruining lives, and deporting people without any due process. But one company is taking a stand against Donald Trump. Greyhound Bus Lines has implemented a no warrant, no boarding policy. This prohibits ICE agents to enter the vehicle without a warrant. Greyhound Bus says they want to guarantee the rights and civil liberties of their passengers. Greyhound Bus is the largest inner-city bus system in the U.S., with over 1,600 destinations. Maybe this will lead to more companies stepping up like Greyhound is. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
There are 1,000 ways to say it.
Nope. Knock it off. Shut it down. Dream on. No dice. Give it a rest. Not a chance.
Or just...
I'll text. You focus on the road.
As a passenger, you have the power to prevent an accident. There are 1,000 ways to stop a distracted driver. Choose one.
A message from CTIA.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation. Joining us on the line right now is attorney and radio personality from St. Louis, Missouri. He's also a filmmaker. Please welcome Jay Kanzler. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, Patty. Thanks for having me on.
I'm so glad to have. I'm so sorry it's taken us so long to connect. I know you'd messaged me, and I've just been sort of overwhelmed. But I'm coming up for air a little bit. But so first of all, introduce yourself to our audience. What kind of law have you practiced? What's your stock of trade, my friend?
So these days, it is a very general practice. I've been at it for about 30 years. I represent a lot of small businesses. About 2/3 of my clients are first and second generation immigrants that own different types of small businesses. And for the past 10 years, I've been helping out the public defender's office, doing criminal work for indigents.
Oh, wow. And this has got to be a very challenging time on both fronts, really. Let's start with your the immigrants who are relying on you for a variety of needs.
Right. So most of the clients that I have are here on a documented status that it is pretty solid, and they don't have a lot to worry about, although they still worry a lot. Some of my clients are in a more precarious position, and it just breaks my heart. These are some folks that have been in this country for 20, 25 years, all their lives, raised their kids here. Unless you looked at their passport or their immigration papers, you'd think they were U.S. citizens. They'd been here all their lives. And, up until this point, frankly, no one cared because they were great members of the community. It's only since this administration has tried to I don't even know what they're trying to do other than, to make political points by running folks out. It is not, at least in our city, not the worst, the bad and the worst that they're going after. It is anybody. Yeah. And it's a shame. It is tearing up families. It's tearing up communities. It's tearing up our country.
What's got to be so frustrating as an attorney is to see everything that you learned. And I mean, I would think that, look, I know that there are bumps in the road and, there are some, whether it's a judge or a jury or instances you've had along the way. But to see the Constitution not even be at all reflected in the way law is enforced has got to be absolutely staggeringly insane to you.
Absolutely, Patty. And it's heartbreaking, and it is very frustrating because, at least I did, and I think 99% of all lawyers went into this profession because they thought they could help in some ways. Again, not everyone was going to change the world, but they were going to help. And we played by a set of rules that were, set forth in the Constitution, set forth in statutes, and at the heart of that. And I wrote about this several years ago, back in the days of Bill Clinton. And, my point back then was when President Clinton was then saying, well, I'm only lying about sex. And I said, lying about sex is still lying. Our, system of justice is based upon a foundation where people will tell the truth, right? They will be honest. They will not lie. And I said, when you start chipping away at that foundation, then people lose confidence. They lose faith in the system. Fast forward, whatever it's been, 25 years, not only is lying just commonplace, but just total disregard for things like due process, things like, equal protection, things like warrants, and now when I hear that there's a shooting in Minnesota and they say, well, the FBI is going to investigate. I've known many FBI agents over my years that are just wonderful people and solid public servants. But the folks at the top, so when I hear something, I don't believe for a second, not for a second, that that investigation will be honest, that it'll be, done with integrity, or that it'll be comprehensive. I know they're not going to do it. I know they're going to lie. And so, now I've lost faith in the system. And when people lose faith in the system, they stop following the rules because they say, everyone else is doing it.
Yes.
And that's such a slippery slope.
It is. That's a slippery slope. And the extent to which people are losing their humanity is shocking to me. I mean, it's one thing, look, for the people who it's not in their, it's background noise and they're not quite engaged, but the people who cheer this on, I mean, I'm upset and disappointed with people who aren't getting involved and who aren't outraged, but not to the level that I'm absolutely disgusted by people who cheer this kind of stuff on, right?
Right. And then, when people say that the president didn't create this problem, he has just made it commonplace. He's made it okay to express this kind of disdain, this kind of bigotry, this kind of racism. One of the problems we have is that the political process, and you could do 10 shows on this, but we decide all of our elections based on a couple of primaries, and we have certain primary voters that everyone aims for, and which sets us into the general election. We're no longer putting up public servants in our state capitals or in our county seats, and certainly not in Washington, D.C., who have gone up there to be public servants. They have gone up there to further their own careers, to stay in power, and they have done that over the last 10 years by kowtowing to Donald Trump and following this kind of line of, well, I know I should stand up. I know I have integrity. I know in the past I've stood for something, but I can't do that now and keep my power in Washington.
Yeah, that's what's so, that is, I hate all of that. By the way, what were your thoughts on the hearings yesterday with Pam Bondi?
I have had one of those horrible weeks that everybody has once in a while, so I could only get the headlines. But once again, I won't even watch Pam Bondi. I won't watch those folks anymore. One, because I want to gouge my eyes out during it. But, it isn't about a hearing anymore. They aren't answering questions. They aren't giving testimony. It is political bickering. And so, again, I don't believe anything that Pam Bondi says. She's demonstrated that she has no desire to tell the truth. And she's going to do whatever President Trump says. And I know this sounds very cynical, but, it's just been demonstrated. You can't find an instance where she has stood up and said, hey, the Justice Department is separate and independent from the presidency. Rather, what she's shown, day after day is that, I wake up, I call the president and say, what do you want me to do today? And that's not the way the system was set up. And, to hear her talk about and justify what's going on, like I said, I just can't do it anymore.
I know. So here's my question about, and I know it's not your area of law, but I think we can all agree that it's beyond understanding, a human comprehension, that they are protecting these powerful people who abuse children. And someone just texted me, and because and you know what this is like as a radio host. What about this? Why don't they? So this one, why don't the Epstein victims just come out there with their own perp list? They know the men that abused them. And go ahead, Jay.
No. Go ahead, please. I wanted you to finish.
No. You think, because I mean, as a survivor myself, like the idea, first of all, the process of recovery is difficult to explain. I've thought about going back and holding accountable because I was a child. And I've talked to police officers who are like, because my family, for whatever reason, was like, we don't want to go through this. We don't want to put Patti through this. And I could still file a report now. And I feel kind of stupid. It's scary. Like, there's all different elements. Like, that's just, it's always on the survivors, isn't it?
Right. And that's horrible. And I can't even imagine. I'm not a survivor. And I can't imagine what it must be like to have gone through that. And that's part of the problem. So you have all the emotional damage that's occurred and the fear of that being dredged back up. But more importantly, when you're talking about the Epstein folks, you were talking about people with unlimited bank accounts who have demonstrated that they will, step on people. They will, they will smear the reputations of anyone that gets in their way. And so that fear of the system, remember, if Congress, if the Justice Department, if the court system were taking the side of the victims and saying, we have your back, they would step up. But no one these days has given them any indication that they are protected. Rather, they're out on an island on their own. And so I don't blame them for a second. Now, it will happen, because the frustration will reach a level for these victims, these survivors, that they will no longer wait. They're being told by a handful of folks who genuinely are trying to move this along. There are some folks in Washington trying to do this, and they will run out of steam, and I think the victims will finally step up. My position has always been, I don't care whether you're, a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, from Great Britain, from the United States. If you were involved in all of that mess, you have to be held accountable. And I think America, at least the American people, believe that. Now, all of those folks that are on that list, guess who they donate to? The politicians.
Yeah.
And again, the politicians are up there to preserve their own, position of power. And so, you and others are left to look up and say, but what about me? They don't care.
Yeah. Well, it was. I so appreciate catching up with you, and we'd love to have you on again. I've got to run, but let folks know. Do you want them to know about your law firm or where to find your opinion piece? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you just, it's at my most recent op-ed is at theopinionpages.com. It talks about the price of liberty and how it is now our turn to step up and preserve that. So take a look. And Patti, it's always wonderful. Congratulations to you, and keep up the good work.
Thank you. Next time we'll talk about our movie, Marshall the Miracle Dog. And that was so much fun. So much fun. I realized something today, and I'll tell you about it next time.
Okay,
Thanks. It's Jay Kanzler. Have a good night, my friend. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal. We might check in with our friends at Timeless Toys, who are having a Valentine's Day event that you should know about. Their Love Language of Play collection for Valentine's Day. More in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150 in Seattle and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Stephanie Miller.
It's another true Stephanie Miller Show story, Chris LaVoy. Yeah, from with Jane in St. Charles, Illinois. It's real. Stephanie Miller fans are everywhere. We're meeting in parking lots. It happened just yesterday. I got to my car after leaving the grocery store. There was a woman loading her groceries in the car. She had a radio on to WCPT 820 Progressive Radio. I couldn't resist. I said, I think we would qualify to say that we listen to the Stephanie Miller Show. We both laughed and said, yes, we would. I love it.
Stephanie Miller, weekday mornings 8 to 11 on WCPT 820.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
We need to speak out about this.
At 773-763-9278.
Hello, hello.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
This is one of those days where I may not have gotten information to our guest fast enough. The Zoom link. So we do Zoom, we do phone, and today it was my responsibility to make sure our guest had all the information they needed in a timely manner. I have given them the studio line, Lady B. So if Flavia calls in, we're talking for the host. Tell them to call in. The meeting. It should be started. So go ahead and tell her to call in. It's already started. I don't know what else to send because I joined that meeting. Okay, that's on me. That's probably on me. Sorry to the PR person. Sorry, Chris. just okay. As we wait for a phone call, Timeless Toys is this incredible independent toy store in Lincoln Square that I've been going to since the 1990s when I lived in the neighborhood. Maybe they opened in the 2000s. I'm trying to think. At any rate, I love the store. So they have been really forward thinking about making sure that kids have all kinds of toys and have access to not just like the generic toys that you're going to get like at Amazon. That's why I love this toy store so much. They are right in Lincoln Square, and they've announced their February Love Language of Play collection. The curative guide focuses on meaningful, experience-driven gifts for children that prioritizes emotional wellness and hands-on learning over, having candy. Who wants those chalky hearts? I've never understood the chalky hearts. Those make me absolutely crazy. So I don't. I'm just trying to look at there's phone calls coming in. Excellent. So at any rate, this comes as National Retail Federation projects that Valentine's Day spending will reach a record $29 billion. That's crazy. So they have meaningful gifts at Timeless Toys under $25, including puzzles and the Mary Mayer gumball bunnies. They're the Vermont-made plush toys. And we have our guest on the line. Thank you so much. Flavia, thank you so much for joining us. I apologize. I thought I started the meeting, but I'm just learning our Zoom tech on the air. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, Patty. Thanks so much for asking.
Absolutely. Well, I mostly ask people if they're hydrating because it's a very stressful time. But I love that we're going to talk about toys. I love that we're going to talk about toys. So you are assistant manager in training over there, yes?
Yes, I am.
And you're also, I was told by my producer that you're also a fellow performer.
I am, yeah. Yeah, that's... Right now, I'm focusing on doing the shopkeeping responsibilities.
I understand.
But it's been
yes, we're someday we'll talk about being we're the Chicago family, so we can talk about that someday.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the store since I was late getting you on the air. So tell us about this event, the celebration of Valentine's Day at Timeless Toys.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard you mentioning, our Mary Meyer Gumball bunny toy a little bit earlier, and I was like, it's so great to hear that. We definitely wanted to curate a collection that focused on some of the benefits that are a little more long-standing than, a box of chocolates or a box of candies or something, but are still a great way to express love and share love with kids and adults in families alike. So we really wanted to focus on some of the things that stuck out to us when we were doing our ordering and doing our inventory poll here. And I think the big thing that people think about with Valentine's Day is, the cliche, very, like bunny, the roses, the chocolate, but there's so much more to it. And there's so many other ways to express love and to even share, in the act of expressing love that includes crafts or music or even some STEM toys that we have featured right now.
Our friend, now, Flavia, how do I pronounce your last name before because I'm going to be upset with myself if I said it wrong.
No worries. It's Pallozzi.
Pallozzi. Flavia, I don't know why I did an accent there. That was unnecessary, and I apologize. Flavia Pallozzi, who is the assistant manager at Timeless Toys. You can go to timelesstoys.com to look at all the wonderful items and gifts and toys that we're talking about. That's timelesstoys.com, and folks can shop from anywhere in the country in order to get them by Valentine's Day. You got to get into the shop, I would imagine. Right, Flavia?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really fun down here in Lincoln Square. It's such a great community-focused neighborhood regardless. So even if you're not stopping at Timeless Toys, which we hope you do, there's tons to do and see in the neighborhood as well.
It's a great shop. So you've got the some gifts under 25, and then I remember doing the Snap circuits with my son. I don't think we ever got one that flew. Tell us about this flight deck.
Yeah. So Snap circuits are great. They're definitely part of the STEM education, or as we know it now, we call it a STEAM education, right? So it's science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Nice.
And I feel like Snap circuits has been such a great support in giving examples of just how art should be incorporated into what we traditionally consider to be, the right brain attributes. So they are so great at creating toys that engage creativity and let kids, and the adults helping them, see how you can't really have one without the others. You need art to kind of understand math in a new way. You need tech to discover new ways to engineer things. So this is such a great hands-on kit. One of the managers here had a great idea. You could fly a love note to somebody using kind of the kit's mechanisms to, shoot that to a loved one across the room. But families can build together, or you can really do some kind of supervised solo play with that one. And Snap Circuits all around has so many great kits in general.
They really do. I remember I think we made a robotic dog or something one year too.
Oh yeah.
All kinds of fun.
Classic. Yes.
All kinds of fun stuff. Again, we're talking to our friends from Timeless Toys. Go to timelesstoys.com. One of the other things, one of the reasons I always say yes to and would love to have everybody on from Timeless Toys is that we need to start thinking about our small businesses in contrast to some of these big corporations. I think are you getting the sense that a lot of people are going to Timeless Toys as opposed to shopping online at the big box stores or suppliers?
Yeah, again, we are really grateful for the community that is around us here in Lincoln Square, but I would say slowly but surely our outreach has kind of grown to more areas of Chicago, and it really is so nice. You just hear so many, and experience so many stories of, I ordered this thing online or through a big box store, and I've got an issue, and I cannot get on the line with a single person. It's just robot or AI or all these things that kind of get in the way of the joy of this thing that you were so looking forward to purchasing. So I'm really grateful to say that we have seen an uptick in sales, and I think that's just proof of how committed people are to, turning away from this kind of technology overhaul that's kind of happening societally right now, and how people really do want to focus on that in-person connection, which I think hand in hand kind of speaks with the toys that we offer here overall.
That's amazing. And I do love the concept of encouraging families to play side by side. My boys are now 20 and 22, and I know we had a lot of fun. And some of my favorite memories is whether it's reading books to them at bedtime or getting down on the ground or playing imaginary games. I mean, and my son's about to finish college. I think I did okay with the playtime. I'm just saying, right? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, definitely. I mean, as more and more studies come out about the importance in play, how it affects, pretty much every part you could think of, like cognitive, physical, communicative, sensory, emotional development, social development. Like, play is such an important part of shaping how we see the world and how we interact with it. And it definitely goes beyond just imagination and creativity. It really ties into how we find our own place in this world and how we find the ways that we best relate to ourselves and others. So play is absolutely, instrumental. Not just for kids, but adults too. We kind of lose it along the way, but it's always good to just take a second and see if you can't reintroduce some of your favorite toys, back from your childhood, back into your life as an adult. Very, very lucky that we get to do that here at the toy store daily. So
I love it. I love everything you guys do. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to connecting with you again. Again, our friend Flavia Pallozzi. Did I say it right? Pallozzi?
Yeah.
That was close.
Yes, yeah.
Timeless Toys, everybody. And you can order from anywhere in the country. You might not make it for Valentine's Day. You can get into the store before Valentine's Day, though. But any time of the year, order your toys from timelesstoys.com. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Take care. That's it.
Right.
We're wrapping up. Flavia was our last guest. That was a great way to end. Some fun talk about toys. Take care. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Coming up tomorrow, we have guest co-host Soli Santos will join us. And we also, I think we have a 6:30 guest, but I know at 6 o'clock, we'll also be joined by Tim Walco, comedian Tim Walco, comedian Soli Santos. I figured, why not end the week with a laugh? I mean, I think we could all use that. So it's not that we won't talk about the news of the day, the week, the everything. We'll also laugh about it. It's the patio. It's the patio comedy, the comedy patio. That's what we called it, right? The comedy patio. We'll do that tomorrow. I guess. Oh, and Dobra from Delightful Pastries will join us at 6:30. Delightful Pastries, of course, has your punchki orders ready to go. Lady B, not for nothing, but we're late. But she said she'll send some punchkis for us, or maybe not tomorrow, but we're getting some pastries. Let's say goodnight to everybody. Love you. Bye, everybody.
Hey guys, this is Tara Devlin for the Political Voices Network. This is America, right? We don't do kings here. No crowns, no thrones, no authoritarian cosplay.